They said the sacred drum of Oquenya only spoke during the harvest festival. Only when touched by the hands of the elders, and only when the ancestors were watching. But one night, the drum spoke on its own. And when it did, it was not music. It was a warning. Long before the world was divided by walls and borders, villages were kept alive not by weapons, but by stories. And in the heart of Oquenya, there was one story the people prayed would never come true. The day had begun as any other. The market buzzed with laughter and trade. Stalls overflowed with yams, baskets of smoked fish, strings of red peppers drying in the sun. Women argued over the price of cloth, children chased each other through the dust, and drummers played light rhythms to keep the mood alive. Among them was Kweku. 14 years old. Orphan. The boy whose hands never stopped working, though his mind never stopped wandering. He swept the courtyard of the palace, his broom scratching across the stone. Yet his eyes always drifted toward the sacred drum that towered in the center. Its surface stretched with animal hide. Its carvings old, worn, but alive. To most, it was an untouchable relic. But to Kweku, it was temptation. His late mother once whispered to him, "That drum was carved from the tree of truth, my son. It hears more than it speaks." But Kweku, being young, thought it was just a story. And yet, part of him wanted to find out if she had been right. When the sun dipped beyond the horizon, the village gathered by the great fire. As they did every night. Mothers rocked their babies. Men drank palm wine. Children leaned close to hear tales that stretched beyond memory. Kweku sat beside Amma, his only true friend, clever, sharp-tongued, always curious like him. Together, they listened to Elder Kojo, the oldest voice in the land. Long ago, when the first king ruled Oquenya, he was given a gift by the spirits. A drum. Not just for music, but for speech. It carried words across the wind. Words only the worthy could understand. The firelight danced across the elder's wrinkled face. His eyes narrowed as he warned, "Never strike the drum without purpose. For every beat is a message. And messages call to those who are listening." The children shivered. Mothers hushed them. But Kweku leaned forward, heart pounding. The more he heard about the drum, the more he wanted to test it. Then, it happened. A sound so heavy, it froze the air. One single beat. It came from the courtyard where no one stood. The villagers fell silent. The elders stopped mid-sentence. And then another beat. Then another. Slow. Steady. Rhythmic. The sacred drum was speaking. By itself. Pause, whispering tone, every villager turned, eyes wide with fear. Mothers dragged their children inside. Men clutched charms against their chests. And yet Kweku, he did not move. His gaze locked on the drum. And he realized, these were not random strikes. There was a pattern. Like a code. The elders rushed into the shrine. Kweku, silent as a shadow, followed. Inside, he hid behind a pillar, listening. Elder Kojo whispered, "The spirits are restless, they must be fed cola and palm wine." But Elder Ni hissed back, "No spirit beats a drum without a reason. There is meaning here." Their voices rose. Fear cracked their words. Some argued it was an omen of war. Others said a curse had awakened. And yet none dared to admit the truth aloud, that the drum itself had chosen to speak. When the meeting ended, they left in silence, torches in hand. But Kweku remained. Alone with the drum. The night air pressed heavy against his skin. The sacred object seemed to breathe. And he thought, for the first time, that maybe his mother had been right. That night, long after the fire had died and the village lay in sleep, Kweku could not close his eyes. Every time he tried, he heard it. Not in the air, not in the ground, but inside his chest. The drum beat. Soft. Persistent. Calling. Finally, unable to bear it, he rose. The moon poured silver light across the courtyard. And there it was, the drum, waiting. Silent now. Watching. Kweku stepped forward. One step, another, his bare feet whispered against the earth. And as he drew close, the sound stopped. Completely. The night thickened. And in that stillness, something new came. A whisper. Too faint to be real, but clear enough to freeze him in place. His breath caught. His hands trembled. For the voice was not human. And yet, it knew his name. Kweku stumbled back, heart racing. The courtyard was empty. The drum was still. But the words lingered in his mind, echoing. Tomorrow, he would learn what the drum wished to say. But deep down, he knew, once you begin listening to the spirits, you cannot turn away. And if the drum had truly chosen him, then his life, and the life of all Oquenya, would never be the same.